Hi there, Dead-Eye Boy here, back with another video. This time it's from the week just gone there. It's Daily Race B and it's at Laguna Seca. So, jumped in, did 2 laps of qualification and that was the best time I could set. So that wasn't going to start us very far up. In fact, it started us at the very bottom of the grid. But just in front of us was the very, very inventively named Megane Markle. So, shout out to the guy who thought up that name. That was very clever. Made me laugh. It made me laugh indeed. So, here we were. We jumped into the Supra. It's quite a sketchy car to drive, but this race would turn out to be, let's just say, eventful. Not because of the cars, but if you've made it this far in the video and you're seeing this little icon, well, why not just subscribe? Try and help us get to the next sort of landmark, which would be around, well, I think it's going to be 7,000 subscribers, which would be amazing if you could help us to get there. So thank you to everybody who has already subscribed, but yeah, if you haven't and you've found yourself watching this video, then, well, what harm can it do by hitting that little button? Go on, you know you want to. Anyway, back to the action. So I was really quite sort of dreading this race because I was only doing it because when I was live streaming we lost connection to Daily Race C, so I had to jump in and fill the time with a Daily Race B. So this was the first attempt that in fact it was my first and only attempt at Daily Race B last week, and yeah, it's basically, I found out that it was no place for the sort of faint-hearted. It was quite an aggressive race. You can see here coming up to the infamous dip here, you can see if people getting a little bit sideways, but we're going to manage to pick up our first position and we are no longer in dead last as we make it past the Silva. So the Silva has been nerfed, it has had a power reduction, so that's why people were now jumping into the Supra like myself, although the Supra is far more difficult to handle than the Silvia, so you've just got to kind of be aware that the Supra the back end can step out a little bit when the Silvia was a bit more planted, although far more understeery. But skipping forward here, you see we've not really made up much ground, but we're going to get another position there as we sort of just hold on to our hats there as we just pray the ghosting system was going to work, and it did, thankfully, as we went right through him. So up to P14, and we've now got yellow flags out, which is great for me as I was coming from the back, and you want as many free positions as you can, but not really seeing where the incident is. But now we can see it. In fact, there's 2 cars off and we're going to pick up another 2 positions, so up to P12 simply from staying on the track, making absolutely the most of other people's shortcomings. And well, you'll see at the end of this race we're going to go into detail about what's happened, because there is a lot happening up ahead as we just try and keep our nose clean and pick up as many free positions as we can. The yellow flags are out again, so that's every lap so far we've had action, and there's been a little bit of contact there in front of us, and you can see the brilliantly titled Megane Markle getting a 4-second penalty for something, and now there's somebody else off. Now the driver who was off there, Stokey Ben, he was up at the front of the race, so he's had a big incident which we will look at in a bit of detail after this race, so stay tuned. It is well worth watching until the end of this video. So coming round here, the left-hander, we're going to get the position off Megane, and Stokey just drifting wide there. Not sure if there was any contact. I don't think there was. I think it might have just been a dirty tyre situation, but we've got the position, so we're now into the top 10 miraculously, and we haven't even had to perform a legitimate overtake. You see here, we're going to get another potentially 2 positions here as 2 drivers are sort of ghosting in and out, and you can see as we go past GT7, remember that name, GT7, we're going to look at him in great detail at the end of this race. So this was a real sort of sign of something happening at the front of this race that was just insane when you go back and actually watch it. So anyway, we're up to P8 now, so managing to stay on the track for the most part. That was our sort of first excursion off onto the sand at Laguna, which is just death if you find yourself going off onto that. Stokey Ben starts to make his way back through the field and picks up a position from us. So we're up to P9 though, so that's not a bad return, and we're going to come down here in the final lap. We've got Meghan Markle firmly pursuing us, although I don't think she likes chases in high-speed cars, or high-speed car chases should I say, according to news reports. Anyway, I digress. As we come through the right-hander up to the last turn, and we're going to just send it nicely around and keep our top 10 position by finishing P9, so not bad. We finished 7 places higher than we started for our first and only race. So that was the story of my race. However, that was not the story of the race, because you're going to see here the chat was just, yeah, it was just full of people making accusations, putting out, you know, Dirty Arc, such a loser, people mentioning Dirty there, Doc with the FU. Yeah, just a lot of stuff happening because, well, you're going to see why the chat was getting so kind of out of control. So people asking for the replay to be saved, so we duly saved that replay, and now you'll see what happened in the race. So firstly, let's pick up, we've seen Meghan Markle picking up a 4-second penalty, and it must be one of the worst 4-second penalties I have ever seen. It was for that sort of glancing contact on the car, which was careering out of control across the track. I mean, I don't know what the game expects the person to do there, because there was really no way of getting out of the way. You can see here, this car was just sort of out of control, just rejoining all over the place, and that was the glancing blow there, which apparently warranted a 4-second penalty. Now, the reason that car was all over the road was very much due to this guy. Now, GT7, also known as GT Arc, gets absolutely sent on there by the RTR driver. Now, I don't know if there was previous, before the race, you know, in a previous race, if something had happened, but you can see here, Tempo, it's a dive bomb, let's not call it anything else, and Arc is, or GT7, is absolutely livid with that. Now, that's how he will react. We've seen it time and time again. He just, his temper goes and he just flips. Now, Tempo's teammate Ben, he just pushes his way through there. I don't know if that was just in revenge, I'm not sure, but you can see here, this was the push which caused the car to be all over the place, which Meghan Markle ended up crashing into. So Arc's already killed this guy. So now he's going to go for victim number 3, and it's just an absolutely pinpoint, laser precision assault on Ben to absolutely send him into the realm. So he picks up a 4-second penalty for that, which is rightfully so. And you can see from Ben's point of view as he comes round the final corner and just gets absolutely power slammed into the sand. Now, Arc wasn't finished there as he dive bombs up the inside of this guy, but unfortunately for him, he also kills himself in the process as he can't control the spin. So he's now got 6 seconds worth of penalties. His race is done. In fact, his SR rating is probably done as well, because, well, this has just been a catalogue of assaults. You can see here he's now going to get involved in the last lap. It really wasn't his fault, this one, though, because the guy turns into him. However, what was his fault is the revenge attack on the guy, as he just deliberately just runs him off onto the sand, causing the guy to, well, just spin and die. So, what was that? 4 or 5 different takeouts from GT7, aka GT Arc. This one, I'll say, was not his fault. He was turned into, but he just loses the plot. He loses all his control, all his basically his temper just goes. And that's what we've seen in every one of those incidents here, where he's taken out drivers. He's felt hard done to and then just retaliated. Here's the incident though that actually caused a bit of sort of fury, because this was for the race win. Let me know in the comments what you think about that move, because that was a dive bomb, if you've ever seen a dive bomb. Now, Doc was not happy in the chat. You seen that after in the chat before we came into the replay, how unhappy he was. But you can see there, he has been absolutely dived on, and yeah, if that costs you the race win, you are going to be unhappy, because the gap was there, but wasn't there, if you know what I mean. But there we go, another absolutely chaotic Daily Race B there, mostly caused by the guy you can see there in question, GT7, aka GT Arc. Now, let me know in the comments what you think, because in his defence, 2 or 3 of the times where he reacted badly were because he was basically dive bombed, and that caused him to basically lose his control, lose his temper. Now, this is what this game can do to certain people. You've got to have your temper under control, because if you react like that to every single time somebody dive bombs you in Gran Turismo, then you'd be as well not playing the game. You'd be as well just giving up. But anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Hit the like button. All that good stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.